So here we are at the end of an extraordinary and chaotic day in the history of our country. We've seen an assault on our democracy like we've never seen. The normally routine exercise of certifying, or in this case, counting the votes of a presidential election turning into a life-threatening attack on one of the pillars of our country. Gunfire, a woman dies, others wounded, members of Congress in gas masks, hiding under their desks, saying prayers. The U.S. Capitol occupied and under siege. The questions will linger for a long time. On a very basic level, just how could an angry mob breach what should have been one of the most secure buildings in the world? Why did it take so long for authorities, including President Trump himself, to respond? And what responsibility will the president ultimately bear for what happened today? Michael, there's 2 more weeks left in this presidency. I know you don't have a crystal ball, but where is this going?
It's going in ways that are very ominous, Lester. You know, this is a day I hoped I would never live to see. We saw a terrorist attack on the United States Congress and the United States Capitol, and it was instigated by the President of the United States, who today at midday told this big mob, march up Pennsylvania Avenue to the Capitol and take back our country, and stop the counting of the ballots that will lead to an election that he charged was stolen. And once they were with guns and other weapons and committing violence in the Capitol, he made a video in the Rose Garden saying, "We love you and you're very special." We have never seen anything like that in more than 2 centuries of American history. I hope we never do again, but it has to stop. He's in office for 2 more weeks. We can't live with the possibility that this kind of thing will spread and get worse.
You know, a couple weeks ago on Meet the Press, Lester, I started off and I just simply asked the question, is this the 1850s or the 1950s, talking about the divides in America? And frankly, I was referring to sort of, you know, in the 1950s, we had the Red Scare, you had Joseph McCarthy, but we shut that down, right? We somehow came together and we shut that down as a country. In the 1850s, obviously, the divide in this country culminated in the Civil War. And so you now look at an event like today, and making a comparison to the 1850s is suddenly, you know, no longer hyperbole, which some of us, I think, were accused of over the last few years. You know, the sad thing about all this, Lester, is that, well, we're all shocked by what we witnessed today. Are we that surprised? We've all been concerned this moment was coming, that we had a president of the United States that was fomenting this, that he had a propaganda machine, frankly, behind him that helped him push this. So I do think this is gut check time. We still have elected leaders in this country, I think, who would like to keep this republic standing. President Trump's actions cannot go unanswered. You've heard various people talk impeachment. You've heard some people bring up the 25th Amendment. I don't think these are ideas that are just being tossed around. These should be serious conversations. Whether, you know, there's a lot of senators right now locked up with Vice President Pence right now. Because you got to ask yourself, is the president mentally fit at this point and has the temperament to handle the presidency even for the next 13 days? What he did today and his actions as they continue all night tonight have to call those things into question. So these conversations, I think, are taking place and they're real.